Hi, everyone. My name is Kenny, and I'm one of the co-founders of Manta Network, and we are building privacy preservation for Web3. So why are we doing that? I don't know if you guys know what this actually is. This is a list or a very limited list of all the transactions that are happening on Vitalik Buterin's wallet address. And so this means every transaction he's ever made to and from this wallet, every interaction with every decentralized application, the crypto assets he holds, right? All of these data piece together his Web3 identity, and it's fully public to anyone, including myself, right? I just grabbed this from Etherscan. And that becomes a problem of privacy as you think about it in Web3, because now anyone with an internet connection can see everything that you're doing on chain. And it's not just a problem that is discomforting, right? But it's actually entirely changing user behavior. We actually did a study, surveyed around 400 participants in the Web3 space, and the results came back to quantify exactly how this issue is highlighted. And specifically, right, I think, a couple of things to look at is almost 3 out of 4 participants of the survey said that they either hesitated to make a transaction or just avoided making a transaction in the past on chain because of their privacy issue, their privacy concerns. And 9 out of 10 of us, right, including myself, we've all peeked into other people's wallet addresses to see what assets they have, what they've done, who they're sending to, et cetera, et cetera. And so, it sounds like an innocent sort of activity, but if you really think about it, right, like that really highlights an issue, a growing issue of the lack of privacy in Web3. And so Manta Network, we are on a mission to bring plug and play privacy to every crypto asset in Web3 using zero knowledge proofs. So you can think of us kind of like Zcash, but instead of asking you to use one particular token, we allow you to privatize other crypto assets. So you can send those crypto assets privately, such as DOT. You can privatize DOT into private DOT, which I'll demonstrate to you now on our Dolphin testnet. So let me switch over. So going into Dolphin testnet, you'll see that we have a signer that we've connected, and I've already gone ahead and pre-funded this account just so that we can, do the demo a lot quicker. But what you can see is that we're on the Dolphin testnet, which allows us to privatize Polkadot into private dot and then transact that private dot. And I'll show you exactly how. So right now in the testnet, we have some test Polkadot. Specifically, I have like 2,700 test dot. And so what I'll do first is I want to privatize this dot. So instead of sending it to another wallet address just as public dot, or asking someone to send me some dot, I'm just going to go ahead and privatize some of this dot. So I'll privatize 738 of this 2,738 dot. So I click deposit, and I'll ask for my info, sign the transaction, and it's processing. And so what happens during this processing stage is that a zero knowledge proof is actually generated for the transaction, which is what obfuscates the information about the transaction itself. This zero knowledge proof generation actually happens locally within your own computer. And so it really is dependent on your own processing power. So deposit is successful, view transaction, we'll go ahead and view it. And you'll see that there was an interaction on chain. And so now we have there's a mint process whereby we took the public dot and privatized it. And so just to kind of jump back a point, right? When I say it's done locally and it takes advantage of your compute power, this means that the system is extremely scalable, because whether it's one person doing it or 5,000 people trying to privatize assets at the same time, everything happens locally before it hits the chain. And so that provides another level of scalability for us. But anyway, so I privatized 738 of that dot. And so you see I still have 2,000 public dot available. Now I switch over to my private tab and see now I have 738 private dot that's available. And so with that private dot, I can send to others, I can receive. And so what I'll actually do just for this test net, just for the purpose of this demo, is I'll send it to myself. And so I'll generate a new private address. This is our first version, which allows for temporary addresses. And in our next release, we will be allowing for permanent private addresses as well. So I'm going to copy that amount over, and I paste it in. I'm I'm going to send myself, I don't know, 500 private dot. Nothing's really going to change here because I'm sending it to myself, but we'll see the on-chain transaction just to prove that it actually sent. So click on send. And so the signer is asking for a password to authorize that I've sent, or sorry, that it's me sending. And so now another zero knowledge proof is being generated. And this generated zero knowledge proof actually contains all the information about the transaction itself. What we'll see is that once the transaction occurs on chain, that information is fully obfuscated. And so if you try to look through the data to see who sent it or who it was sent to, or how much of it and what asset it was, right? All that information is actually not going to be available. And so we'll see that in just a second. I just signed the transaction, and as you can probably tell, if you guys are familiar, this is happening on the Polkadot network. And so we are a parachain within the Polkadot ecosystem. So the transfer is successful, and we'll view the transaction. All right, successful. And now we can actually look at the parameters, look at all this information, and try to find out, okay, this is the actual proof, the ZK proof, right? But as you can see in this data, there's absolutely no information about what was sent, how much was sent, who was sent to, who was sent from, right? And so all of that information is obfuscated on chain, which makes this entirely powerful because what we've actually done is we've taken Polkadot, we've privatized that Polkadot, and we've sent it privately to someone else, and no one knows except myself and the receiver, right? Which is also myself, so only I know. But yeah, so at any point in time, right, you can take the private dot and you can turn it public again. So I'll just go ahead and withdraw my 738 private dot. But you don't have to, right? You can send it to someone else, or you can, send a portion of it to someone else. Because we use a UTXO model, it allows you to continue to keep the assets private within our network and continue to send to one another. And this essentially just concludes the demo of our private payment testnet. In the future, we are building out a variety of other privacy products as well, as including private swapping. So you can think of it like a decentralized exchange with a layer of privacy added on top. And we're also building and researching currently ZKVMs. You can see that the assets were moved, and so now I have 0 private dot. And so this transaction is still processing, but in the interest of time, right? Oh, actually, it just completed. So going back to public, you can see now all my dot is returned to public. And so in public, if I ever send, all that transaction information is available. So yeah, I've essentially demonstrated the testnet tool for private payment of various crypto assets, and you can see, throughout this entire process, this was in real time. So it's actually really fast, really scalable for zero knowledge proof generation. So we're very excited, but we are still committed to continuous improvements, and the next release of Dolphin Testnet will actually have a significant performance speed increase as well. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so that was the demo, and a little bit about us, right? Myself, Victor, and Shulma were the founders of the project. Shulma has a very technical background. He was actually building the smart contract systems for Algorand previously. Victor was studying for his master's in economics, and I was studying for my MBA at MIT. And this is actually how we all met. We met in the Boston area. The core team, this slide definitely needs to be a little bit updated because we've definitely expanded since then. We currently have about 20 people on the team, of which 17 are on the engineering side, and we're starting to scale out the business side as well. And so, if you or anyone in your network are very interested in privacy, Web3, and have a great blockchain background experience, please, reach out to us. And I think ultimately the ask here is, we want to attract additional users to try out Dolphin Testnet and provide feedback. We want people to better understand the importance of privacy in Web3 and see how simple it can really be to start using privatization for various crypto assets. But yeah, so with that being said, thank you very much. And yes, we are Manta Network, and we're bringing privacy to Web3.